So today I've got, let's not do that. So today I've got a box. Yes, just a box right now. I took stuff out of it. It is a Boss Elite head unit, and it's the BE920WCPA-C. Hold that. Like that right there. This is the actual head unit right here. So we're going to put that in the truck today because I want to test my camera. And while I'm putting the camera wire into the cab, we're going to put some other stuff through the cab too. So we're going to replace the stereo, and I know this has been done 100 times before, but we're going to replace the stereo with a double din. I've got all the stuff to do it right, including the stuff that's going to maintain me keeping my steering wheel buttons and door chimes and everything. And I'm going to show you how I do my wiring when I'm doing stereos and stuff, just to make sure it holds together. So yeah, let me show you what we do. Alright, so I've got the ones that I need picked out, I'm pretty sure. We'll see. So, first things first, this has got dip switches that's got to be set. So it's telling me I got Alpine, JVC, Kenwood, Lightning Audio, Stinger, Clarion, Namakachi, Pioneer, Sony, Infusion, and all other brands. I'm in the all other brands scenario because we're using the Boss. And so it looks like says set dip switches that correspond with your radio to the on position. And so for all other brands it's 1, 2, and 3. So 4 needs to be off. So I'm going to take my thumbnail and just pop that one up. Now you might need to use a small screwdriver, pocket knife or something, but so I've got 4 turned up. So that takes care of that. Ring, harness, accordion, wiring connection, yada yada yada, connector 3. So now we're going to get down here to the which I've got one connector later on my question, but we're going to do the wiring connections because that's what we're doing first, get all that together. So I've got my wiring connections here, and then I'm going to get my manual for the radio and get my wiring connections in it, and this is going to give me a bunch of information about the radio installation on it, which we'll pay attention to that later. Right now the most important thing is the harness, and watch, they're not going to tell me. I did look at this ahead of time. I thought it'd be easy to find. Alright, page 28 and 29 give me all my wiring connections. That's what I was looking for. So now we've got that done. So we're going to move this back out of the way because I don't need this temporarily. And we're going to work with these two pieces right here. This is the one that plugs into the back of the radio. This is the one that plugs into the pack module. And so I'm going to lay these out and I'll get one of these made up and I'll show you what I'm doing. Alright, so I'm sure everybody knows what one of those are. That is a red butt connector. And if you order from Crutchfield or someplace, they're going to take your wiring that comes with your radio and they're going to take the interface that goes in and they're going to crimp it all together with these. And I'm going to use these, but not the same way they do. So I'm going to show you what I do. So first things first is I'm going to take these right here and I'm going to take a set of side cuts and I'm going to just run around it, indenting the plastic. There. Now if you can see metal, see the shiny metal there? Now I should be able to pull, and if it gets a little stubborn, you can take a set of needle nose and just pry, and there it is. And so I'm going to take that, and I'll flip that around, take the needle nose again, pry the other side off. So when you're done, you're going to have the little butt connector there, just the metal part. Okay, and I'm gonna show you why I do that in a minute. And I've got 20 of these made. I can't see what I'm seeing. There we go. Got 20 of them made laying right there. And so now I'm gonna set up my harness, and we're gonna show you guys how I do this way and why. Okay, so I have got my wire here, and I've crimped using the 2218, and I've mashed it, and then I've took and kind of smoothed it out some. Now, before I done that, I put a piece of heat shrink on. Don't forget your heat shrink, that's important. Now, the cool thing about these is you can get these hot. Now, I'm using this soldering iron here, which is a little bit bigger one. I've had it off for a second. You got to hold the trigger, turn it on. Once it gets hot, it gets nice and hot. Now, I've got, well, I'll tell you what, let me turn that one off for a second. I've got this one that's been on. It's your standard style, right? And so it should be able to tin that some. Maybe this one's broke. No, there we go. It's good. So what you want to do is you want to get this piece right here hot, and when you get it hot, it's not wanting to stick to that. You're going to use it as like, there we go. You're going to use that solder as like a thermal conductor, and you're going to run it. There's a hole in the center on the back side of this, but you're going to run it all the way around this, and more importantly, as that gets hot, so I'm going to try and come over to this side here now. There we go. And that solder will actually run inside of that. And then if you got any hanging off, you can take this right here and kind of rake off the excess. But you can clean that off. But you want that solder to run in the hole in the center, and you want to run in the sides of it. I got a little too much solder trying to show you guys. So, then there we go. That solder is run inside there. And so any place inside there that there was any air inside that where it got crimped, now there's solder, which means it cannot come out. And so the next stage of this is obviously take your heat shrink and put over it. And I'm going to just kind of touch it to that stuff because that's still hot. Figure out where I'm at here. And then I've got a heat gun. We'll see if I got the right heat gun or not. So I'm going to take my heat gun and that down real good. My portion's broken hanging out on the heat gun. About time for a new heat gun. But as you can see, it's still working. So I'm going to make sure that seals real good all the way around the ends. And then there you go, that's one solder joint. Now that seems like it takes some time. But my big thing with this is, now let me move you up here. So my big thing with that is that when you're doing something like this, it's going to go back in the dash or whatever, or you're doing this on a piece of equipment that, so I'm going to say like my Harley. Like everybody knows that a Harley vibrates. So all of your wiring harness that you work on, if you do that to all of it, this connection right here, this connection will not come apart. It will not vibrate loose. You've also got it sealed out to where it can't corrode. Now, if I was doing this someplace that was going to see more moisture, and be outside, I would have used a longer piece of heat shrink, and I might even black tape over this. That way, you're keeping moisture out of your joint. So I'll do that for all of these, and that'll take some time, and then we'll work on the inside of the truck. Okay, so I'm up in the truck right now, and the lighting's not great because I'm in a hurry at the moment. I'll get a better lighting when we actually go to doing this, but I'm gonna show you the easy part here. I got questions about what's back here, so I'm gonna pull this out first before I finish my wiring. And so these things really, there's not much to them. If I get my hand underneath this right here, back here, there we go. So now I can just run around through here with my fingers like no tools. Now here's the downside. I'm gonna put the key in, it's gonna ding on me. I gotta unlock it, I gotta pull my shifter down, and I'm gonna pull my tilt down all the way. You can hear the full fuel pump kick on this truck. Get that popped and that popped. I should just be able to roll the top of it out like so. There we go. So I'm gonna lay that in the back seat, get it out of the way. And I turn the hazard on. Okay, so I'm gonna tilt this back up for now. Put that back in park. And I'm gonna turn the steering wheel here. Okay, and I'll shut the truck off. So now you've got access to everything here. So if you need to work on any of this, and it looks like I need to, I'm gonna pull the key out, that way it quits dinging at me. So I need to go get me a small socket and a ratchet, and I should be able to pull this out. All right, so I got my ratchet, my socket. Looks like, since I've got that off, the bottom corners of my AC unit be a good time to clean them, because it looks like where it overlaps I've got fuzz and stuff. Now, these things are like a mile long. Yeah, it comes completely out. They made sure it stayed in there. There's that. Okay, now that should, yep, come out like so. Now, we have got something holding us. I'm pulling anyways. Because we should be able to get it out far enough to unplug whatever's back here, right? Okay. Now I can see. So I've got this connector here. There's a connector in the main part of the body of it. Right. If I can get my thumb in there and press down on that. Well, maybe. Alright, let's go with this then. At least get that out. There we go. There's your radio wire. It's been together for a minute. It likes staying together. This radio's never been out of this truck, and it is an 04 model, so, you know. Now, this connector here, I think that's the only one. Yeah, there's a piece there. That right there should pull up like that. Like that. And there it is. So, radio is out. So I'm going to set it down here on the floor. And really, I don't know that anything else here matters. So, okay, that's what I wanted to see. So we've got the radio out now. Moving forward. Okay, so for my camera inputs, I've actually put connectors on here that are your, oops, I pulled the insulation off of that one. That's awesome. They're the spades type that connect together. And that way, if I want to, which I'm going to try and get that insulation back on there, if I want to, I take paired needle nose and I can pull that back apart. And that way, if I have to reroute these camera cables for any reason, I've got them. Now, Because them are insulated on this end and not so much on this end, I'm going to put a little bit of tape on those. And that way those do not come apart anymore. And then, let's see here, I'll do that. Okay. And then I'll do this one over here the same way. Now I am using two cameras. Now one of them says front, one of them says rear. I do not have a front camera. I plan on using one for the very back of the truck and one for the headache rack above my custom bed to look down at my gooseneck hitch to help me connect the gooseneck trailer up. So that'll keep them from hitting anything. And everything else is connected up, wired up. Directions were pretty simple. So right now, I need to, well, that's my switch input. So that's right there. I need to take the little cover off this and plug that in. And I'm going to go back, and this right here says steering wheel controls. I'm going to go back and look at those real quick and see what those are. Yeah, I've got to double check everything before we put all this together. Okay, so I currently have everything plugged in according to what the directions say. It's all pretty easy. I added an extra green wire. That's something I done. But I've got the cameras plugged in. They're powered up. I've got the only thing that's not plugged in right now is the radio antenna because it's not long enough for the to be sitting down here. And when I turn this on, that little chime will drive you batty. So what I'm going to do is we're going to unplug that temporarily. I'll plug it back in before we get done. So something I think everybody should do is if you're doing something like this, is you should test all your stuff to see if it works. Okay? Now I've got my wire ran over here for the mic because I'm going to run it across and run it up. But right now, it's on. And so if I hit source, go over to Android Auto, it's connected to my phone right now. So everything works real good. You can see my maps is up. I'm Bluetooth to my phone, which is sitting right there. So everything's fine. I can go back source again, go to AV input, which I don't have any AV input right now. So we'll work on that later. Go back to tuner. And my buttons on my steering wheel and everything work like they're supposed to. Although I don't have an antenna plugged in right now and I'm on AM, so that's really not going to help me much. So, but all the buttons on the steering wheel, everything works like it's supposed to. So now let's put the dash together. Oh, by the way, this right here is the kit that comes with it. I highly recommend, not because anybody's supporting me, but order from Crutchfield. They'll send you everything you need to make the job work for you. This kit snaps on around. Your beauty ring on this comes off to make that happen. And so then I just got to put my screws back in, and I'm going to go ahead and put my GPS wire through there and everything. So we're going to run the GPS on this too. So yeah, I'll put it all together. All right, so I've got everything put together, and get a little bit of a whiteout because the truck's facing the garage door and I got the garage door open, so I'm sorry, but hopefully you guys can see pretty good. So right there on the dash, you can see that is the GPS antenna. I mounted it on the dash so it can see the sky through the windshield. They say that's okay. The wires are routed around through here and around back up through the dash and over to the head unit. Now, with that wire going over to here, I go up the pillar and across the headliner, and right there, see this little fuzzy right there? That's the microphone. So the microphone for the unit, so I can make phone calls and stuff, and it's right there. They recommend mounting it around the mirror or around down in here. I mounted it right there. That'll be good. It'll be on the side of my thing there. It's got sticky tape holding it on. It'll be fine. So now here's for the main event. So if I click forward, the chimer should quit here in a second. Who knows, maybe it won't. Oh, the door's not closed. Hey, guess what? That worked. Let me know my door wasn't fully closed. So, I'm going to get rid of the beep off here. I've not messed with the settings any yet. So, we've got Android Auto happening right now. So, I'm going to go to my Android Auto. Right? And so, I'm going to
using it before I wanted to film.
Listen to some music. You might hear the guy talking and know who it is.
For the grapple and not necessarily for the operator. And I'm sure I'm still probably not doing it right. But that being said, I want to show you guys some of what this thing can do.
So we'll go through this right here.
Then we'll talk about...
Because I know in this one I play music. Sounds all right. Let's see what else I got. I have to say I'm pretty happy. Okay, this thing's on T off. Oh, and by the way, my buttons are working. So I can actually make phone calls by hitting this over here. And let's see here. Call Myra.
Sure, calling Myra Matthews.
She'll be proud of me. She probably won't answer. I'll let her go, but that all works. So, if you guys are thinking about doing the Boss Elite head unit for this, so far so good. I've got a Boss in my other one, so if you guys got any questions about what I done or how I done it, comment below. And the next one, we're going to be hooking up air lines and wiring for the onboard compressor and the airbags, and we're doing that so we can put the bed on. So I got more to do, and there's more wire in the floor down there. Yeah, so we'll see you guys later, and thanks for watching.